By golly, I think I'm live, guys. Here we go. We're gonna give this a shot. A little bit shaky, but that's what we do here. Today, I'm butchering a pig. I got up about 4 a.m. and last night we did the dispatch, skin, gut, split, all that. Show you a little bit of my setup, and then I'm just going to get to cutting. This is the second half of this big guy. And so right now I'm just breaking it apart. I just cut off the ribs and the bacon from my loins here, and I'll start cutting that apart here in a second. This is my big gantry that I got this summer. It is not tall enough. It's about 10 foot tall. 12 foot would be more ideal, just because by the time I put that electric hoist and trolley on, I do have another trolley with a chain fall, but that's backup. That was backup. The electric is the way to go, but it's just not tall enough. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time trying to figure out possibly how to add height or just get a different gantry. I'm not gonna talk too long because I gotta get this done. This is the gambrel that I built. Way overkill, and what I noticed was the black pipe. Actually, it's not overkill at all. The black pipe was starting to bend on me by the time I drilled a 1/2-inch hole into it. And so I just harnessed on this square tube. I will have to buy a heavier piece of square tube in the future because I put some investments in here. We got to have a future. So I'm gonna put this away. We'll get you guys set up, and we'll just kind of talk through the process. I've got a cooler over here where I'm keeping all the meats in. You can see right there, that is lard, a lot of lard on this pig. Very, very fat pig. I see someone chiming in there. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but probably this is going to get demonetized or something because there's raw meat. I don't really know how that works, but we're going to keep going here. A little squig coffee. Like I said, I got some lard there. I've got our pan over here. This is all the bacon chunks, and so I will cure those later on this morning. And then probably smoke those out on Sunday. And so let's get going, huh? Someday I'd like to make a video about all my homemade setup, but this is definitely not USDA certified or anything like that. Pretty amazing what you could do with a saw and some knives. So just sawed through that. We'll go ahead and split this guy. So that's the side. These guys were probably right around that 330 to 340 mark. Definitely big, healthy boys. The sister, we butchered a couple weeks back, week and a half ago, something like that. And she was probably about 300. She was much longer, but leaner, much leaner. And so this is your side. Right here is your spare rib. your baby backs would be part of that spine. I don't mess with baby back ribs, mostly because I'm using a handsaw, and that becomes really challenging. I did that 2 years ago when I first did the pigs. And so at this spot, we're just gonna do a little cleanup. And most all this stuff you'll see me kind of toss over here, and that will get picked apart for a grind later. And so these are your spare ribs. I'm just going to kind of get underneath there. And once I get underneath there, now I can start to just slice. And I kind of want to hug that rib a little bit. It's okay if there's a little bit of meat on it, because we got to eat, right? But down here is your bacon, and really like the bacon. And so this set of pigs has been a challenge. Not a horrible challenge. They've just been a little more rambunctious than I'd ever seen. But you could see that meat and flesh layer there. Maybe you can see it. You don't need to see me so much. But you can see that that's right along here. Somewhere in here, I've got to start cutting it out. But there's some real skinny ribs that if you're not careful, yeah, cut underneath that one right there. And so, very much I'm a hobby shop guy. Not selling anything. I will share it. But I gotta probably about 4 o'clock this morning I got up, and I planned on that. And so that's the ribs. I got a little bit of cleaning up to do. I'll kind of trim that a little bit, get a little of the grizzle off. And then I have a hole that I dug the other day out back that I'll put the guts in, I'll put the skin in. Any extra bone pieces off the spine, I just throw into the chicken run. I let the chickens pick that apart for a while, because you know, it doesn't do any good to throw it in the woods, let critters get it. The chickens will at least give me eggs. This is your side. This is all potentially going to become bacon. The first pig we got 22 pounds of bacon off of. And so at this spot, I'm going to just kind of take a little of that fat layer off. That fat layer is better than 3/4 of an inch there. And so this is type of work that, and that fat layer is kind of a lard. It's more of a back lard. Not quite as tasty as that leaf lard. That leaf lard is real flaky. But we'll make a pile of that. Pretty much everything that I have learned, I've been watching the Bearded Butchers. I've got a pig playlist that a private playlist, but created that a while back. And man, I've watched their skinning video probably 45 times, and they have another video where they just break apart a pig in a barn, and I've watched that probably at least 45 times. And so, like I said, I just keep adding this lard. If the missus doesn't want it, I know I got plenty of neighbors that do. There is a little bit of cleanup here, mostly because you don't get it quite clean. During that whole butchering, your skinning gets a little dirty, and so we'll clean up a little bit of this. Some of that fat really is pretty nice when you're curing it, when you're smoking it. But man, I'm getting into a little meat there, and I don't want to do that. So maybe I should just be quiet and let this roll, right? So so we're just cleaning up some of that dried blood. Still got a pretty good fat layer there. Going to square this up a little bit now. I've got the to-do pile over there. And so squaring this up, we want to, you can see that layering there. That's, man, I do like the bacon. I'm going to start out just by cutting this guy right down the middle, best I can. And I did make a video 2 years ago when I did this, and smoked it on the Weber, and that was pretty slow, but it didn't cost me a whole lot, just my time. And so we're gonna do this once again. These are pretty big chunks, but we'll make it work. So there you go. That will get cured. I've got some 2-gallon Ziploc type bags that I'll rub both sides down, slide it in the bag. Every day I'll flip it back and forth. Today is a Tuesday morning, and I'll probably smoke it on a Sunday afternoon. And then I just do a hot smoke where keep the kettle temperature 220 to 250, bring this up to 150, let it kind of cool down, and then we'll just kind of slice it to the best of our ability, vacuum seal it into 2-pound packages, and away you go, right? And so that guy could probably trim back a little bit. But yeah, that fat really will absorb that smoke really nicely. And you can just see that once again. That's pretty great. So there you go, bacon. Then we got this big loin here. This guy is always something that challenges me. Because you got the loin inside the spine and the big back ribs, and then you got this sirloin tip bag here, and that sirloin tip always challenges me. But I told myself today I was going to do this without breaking out any YouTube videos, and so let's just see. We'll just keep rolling it around, guys. There we go. And come in right around here. The meat saw works really good. I should say bone saw, but it just doesn't do very good when it comes to going through meat and flesh. It just doesn't like that at all. And then it doesn't like going through a really thin bone. Just the teeth are really fine. It gets caught on the edge. And so front shoulders, I will break front shoulders into 3 pieces each. And then we are just going to roast those today. Make pulled pork, I'll pull that apart this afternoon, evening probably. It'll probably take 6 hours in the roaster, maybe 7. And then we'll vacuum seal that away for pulled pork. That way we can just drop that in and away we go. Convenience food, right? Farm convenience food. So I told a student that I was going to be gone today, but told him I'd be on YouTube Live. And I see some scripts going across the bottom here. You know, I can't read any of it. So it looks to me like someone's throwing in some garbage speech, but and then I'm sure there's going to be some nice comments mixed in there. Let's go ahead and do this. Like I said, I'm not expert. I am so far from expert, but this is going to be your loins, and so you got the spine. You can actually see the spinal cord here. I just cut that with a cordless Sawzall, right? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull off a lot of this back fat. This thing is super fatty. It was definitely getting ready for winter. Once again, I don't have a chainmail on, and so I try to cut this with a whole lot of caution. Sometimes you can pull, sometimes you can push. A lot of times it just allows you to use a little different muscle group, not wear yourself out. There you go, I'm getting into some meat. Like I said, mostly on my hack job, but this is not simulator. This is real. All right. So we'll clean up that here. Not too much background music either. Like I said, I'll probably cut out that meat. Lard, I will cut lard up pretty small a little bit later, and then I'll chop that up, and then once we grind our pork down, I will change out plates and put a bigger plate on, and then I will grind the lard, and so not too bad, a little fatty, but probably a little fat on your pork chops is that's not the end of the world. It might flare up a little bit more, but they might taste better too, so. So here you go. To get your pork loin out of here, you have your spine. A little tough to see sometimes. Now, what I'm aware of is probably most of the people that, all 53 people that usually watch my YouTube videos, they're probably getting ready for work. And so they're probably not watching right now, but, so right now I'm just kind of going right along that spine, getting in there. And then we flip all this over here. And we'll come right along this spot. And I'm never super tight against there. I'll have to come back and clean that up. This will give us some nice boneless pork chops. And if you had a meat saw, bandsaw, you could definitely clean them up a whole lot faster. Must not cut through on our side. Flip it back. Anytime you do anything on the YouTube, though, you better be ready for a little ridicule. All right. There we go. Get a better angle. Now, if any butcher's watching this, they're probably just cringing. But I think that this is a pretty good skill to have. Like I said, that's not a real great job, but that is your pork loin, that's your pork chops. Man, I'm gonna chop this up, turn this into some chops in a little bit. We'll let that cool down a little bit. Still not super cold out. Someday I'm hoping to have a cooler, but I'm gonna spend a little bit of time now cleaning up any extra meat that I left off this for the grind. And then, yeah, we got the rest of this to kind of clean up. Like I said, this is the rear here. And then I've got front shoulder pieces here. I've got a neck bone in there somewhere that I want to try to get some more meat off of. This is that sirloin tip right here. And then, like I said, I got ribs in there. And so we're just going to keep breaking this apart. This is what I'm doing on a Tuesday morning. Have a great day, guys. Bye now.